Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. First things first, do apologize for getting this episode out a little bit late. Was unable to get it out at the 11:30 a.m. start time. Had a lot of morning stuff I need to get done, so just wanted to apologize for that. Second, I just want to tell you guys of what the Hockey Talk with TG podcast will look like for next week heading into Thanksgiving, because as you guys all know, Thanksgiving, or at least American Thanksgiving, is on November the 27th, and I just want to do a quick rundown of what the Hockey Talk with TG podcast will look like heading into next week and heading into Thanksgiving. So, Monday, November the 24th, there will be an episode out. Wednesday, November the 26th, will be no episode of the Hockey Talk for TG podcast for Wednesday. And then, as you guys all know, Thursday, November 27th is Thanksgiving Day, which American Thanksgiving, by the way, Canadian Thanksgiving was on October 13th of 2025. So now it's an American Thanksgiving. But yeah, November the 27th is Thanksgiving Day. No episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast will be out. And then Friday, November the 28th, no episode out. And then Monday, December the 1st, will be an episode out of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I will post this after this episode ends. So even if you didn't catch it at the intro, or if you didn't catch it at all, I will be posting this on my socials after this episode of the Hockey Talk TG podcast. I might also say it again at the end, just in case for anybody that didn't catch it the first time. And as always, if you are new to the podcast, it's your first time listening, first time checking out the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, whatever the case may be, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We're with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk TG podcast and the latest hockey news going around the league. And also, it helps me out in growing the Hockey Talk with TG podcast and expanding my audience. So you can also share and repost each of these episodes I put out of the Hockey Talk TG podcast, so that any relatives, family, friends that you guys have, they'll also check out the Hockey Talk TG podcast, and they'll also follow as well. At least, hopefully, they'll follow. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the NHL news for today. So Alex Ovechkin, he scores a hat trick in the Capitals' 8-4 win over the Montreal Canadiens on Thursday. He also had an assist for a 4.9. So that was a star-studded performance from the greatest goal scorer of all time and the great 8, Alex Ovechkin. This is his 33rd career NHL hat trick, and he's 40 years old, by the way. So he's still, after going past Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record, Alex Ovechkin is still going strong, and he is tied with Brett Hull for 4th in NHL history with his 33rd career NHL hat trick, and he extends his goal streak to 4 games, and he now has 907 career NHL goals. And he also had another milestone in this one as well. He passed Joe Sakic for 10th place on the NHL's all-time points list with his 1,643 career NHL point. 907 goals, 736 assists for 1,643 points for the great 8, Alex Ovechkin. And he's 10th place on the NHL's all-time points list with his 1,643rd career NHL point. And the Capitals moved to 11-8-0 the season following the win. They extend their win streak to 3 games, and they extend their point streak to 4 games, in which they are 3-0-1 during the span. And check this out, guys. The Capitals are tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the wild card spot. At least that's what it was the last time I saw. It could have changed after last night, but that's what I saw last night. Yep, they're still tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the wild card spot with 24 points. So it's going to be a battle to the finish for both the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference as well. But I just wanted to point that out since the Capitals and Penguins have a little bit of have a long historic rivalry, especially with Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. Ethan Frank had 2 goals and 2 assists for a 4-point night in this one. We also saw Sonny Milano. He scored twice. Jacob Chikrin had a goal for Washington, while Ryan Lindgren made 23 saves on 28 shots faced in net. And for the Canadiens, Brendan Gallagher and Mike Matheson each had a goal and assist for a 2-point night for the Habs. Both goals coming on the power play for them. And Nick Suzuki and Joe Veleno had the other goals for Montreal. Sam Montembeault, he made 7 saves on 10 shots faced in net. And he was replaced in this game by backup goaltender Jacob Dobes, who made 18 saves on 22 shots faced in relief. Jake Evans left the game for Montreal in the second period after an undisclosed injury. He took a hard hit from Capitals forward Tom Wilson. And we all know who he's gritty and physical. He's a goon almost. He's a physical enforcer kind of guy. But yeah, he took a hard hit from Tom Wilson on the play, which led to Jacob Chikrin's goal. He returned to play 28-second shift to end the period, but then after that, he did not return at all. He left the game for good. And the Canadiens, it keeps getting worse for them. They have lost 5 straight games, 0-4-1 during the span. And they moved to 10-7-3 of the season, and they're out of a playoff spot. Red Wings, Lightning, and Bruins are the top 3 teams in the Atlantic Division. And the Canadiens are at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Capitals start a 4-game homestand against the Tampa Bay Lightning Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But the Canadiens and Maple Leafs one should be a good one. Both teams coming off of losses last night. Canadiens losing 8-4 and the Maple Leafs losing 3-2 in overtime to Adam Fantilli and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So both teams looking for a bounce back win tomorrow night, and this should be a good game because Canadiens and Maple Leafs have a long history against each other. It's a rivalry game. It's a hockey night in Canada game. Doesn't get any better than that. So both teams are going to be looking forward to getting wins on Saturday. But now let's go from the Bell Center to the United Center, Montreal to Chicago, where the Blackhawks took on the Seattle Kraken, and the Seattle Kraken, unfortunately, held off the Chicago Blackhawks for a 3-2 win on Thursday. They scored 3 unanswered goals in the game to win 3-2. I believe it was the third period. They scored 3 unanswered goals, all goals coming in the third period for the Kraken to win 3-2. And it was a come-from-behind victory for Seattle. I should say a controversial come-from-behind victory, and I'll get into that part in just a second. And they moved to 10-5-5 of the season. Jaden Schwartz had the game-winning goal on the power play, scored with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to give the Kraken a 3-2 lead. He scored side the crease on a pass from Brandon Montour. Ty Cart and Shane Wright had the other goals for the Kraken. Brandon Montour had 2 assists in the game for Seattle, while Joey DeCoy made 22 saves on 24 shots faced the net. And for the Blackhawks, Teuvo Teravainen and Tyler Bertuzzi scored for Chicago. Spencer Knight made 24 saves on 27 shots faced the net. Now, the only reason why I said controversial come from behind victory for the Kraken is because Connor Bedard, in the third period, I believe it was, I don't know how much time was left in the third period. I think it was down to like the final 5 minutes of the third period or so. But anyway, Connor Bedard was on a breakaway in the third period, got slashed on the play, and he was mad at the referee for not calling calling the penalty. He was slashed on the play, and the referee didn't call the penalty. And so Connor Bedard got upset with the officials, and the officials gave him a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And it's crazy because, like, I wasn't the only Blackhawks fan that was upset. There was a lot of Blackhawks fans that were upset. And I'm going to show you guys the video right here. If you are watching on YouTube, you will be able to see the video. So here's the video right here. I'll hold my phone like this so you guys can see it. So this is the video right here. Now, how is that not a penalty? This is the video right here if you guys are watching on YouTube. This should have been a penalty. He was slashed on a breakaway. Should have been a penalty shot in my opinion. But if you weren't going to call a penalty shot, you could at least call that a penalty. And Connor Bedard was arguing with the officials. And for that, he got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty out of that. And I was just really upset. I was irate and livid after the call. It was a crazy, dumb call. And it was a stupid and heartbreaking, I should say. It was a heartbreaking loss for the Blackhawks. They should have had that game won, and that penalty should have been called for Connor Bedard. Like, the penalty should have been called on the play, and it wasn't. Connor Bedard was arguing with the officials, and for that, he got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and the Kraken score on the power play. They win the game 3-2. So to lose like that, like, if it was just like a normal game where the referees would call the play right, it would be okay. I'll still be upset that we lost, though. But to lose like that is crazy. Like, that's something that can't erase from your mind. It'll still stay in your mind for a few days. You know, and I'm pretty sure I didn't listen to his post-game interview after that. I think they showed this on CHGO Sports. I believe so. Like I said, I didn't listen to the post-game interview. I didn't hear what he had to say on the call. But if that was me in that situation, I would have been irate. I would have been upset. And getting the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty out of that, that's just crazy. I would have skated to the penalty box, slammed the door, banged my stick up against the door. Like, I would have been just losing it in the penalty box if that was me in that situation and I didn't get a penalty for being, and the player that slashed me didn't get a penalty out of that. So it was just crazy. It was a stupid loss. But yeah, Blackhawks 6-game point streak comes to an end. 5-0-1 during the span, and unfortunately they dropped to 10-6-4 this season. And the bright side, they're still in a good spot. They're still in a wild card spot. But I just can't get over that game. I mean, there was 2 calls that were against us that shouldn't have been against us. Like, for an example, the Tyler Bertuzzi go-ahead goal against Vancouver at the United Center back in October. No goaltending interference on the play. The referees had to check that for goaltending interference, and they did say it was goaltending interference. Tyler Bertuzzi made no goaltending interference on that, and they still called it goaltending interference, so it was no goal. And now you got the Connor Bedard unsportsmanlike conduct, which Connor Bedard is trying to explain to the officials why he didn't get the penalty. That would have been a penalty shot. If I would have called that, that would have been a penalty shot. But if it wasn't going to be a penalty shot, you could at least call it to the penalty. And the referees don't call that a penalty. So I was just really upset with the call. Connor Bedard had every right to be upset and irate after that call. And the referees making a soft, unsportsmanlike conduct call, like, that's just crazy. I hate the way that we lost like that. I'm not okay with a loss at all, but to lose like that, it's just like, come on. Like, we were robbed of that one. That should have been an easy win for the Chicago Blackhawks. But they played great in the game. Don't get me wrong. The Blackhawks played great in the game against Seattle. It was just the refs that had other plans. But at least the Blackhawks get an easier opponent Friday against the Sabres at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. For the Kraken, they continue their 4-game road trip in the Steel City against the Pittsburgh Penguins Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But anyways, on to some good news about the Chicago Blackhawks. They announced their new alternate uniforms. They will be bringing back their legendary black alternate jerseys, which this really made my day after the game from last night against Seattle. Like, see, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm just smiling with joy right now. I don't know if I can't stop smiling like this, but this really made my day after the game last night against Seattle. So they will be debuting these jerseys on Black Friday, which will be next Friday when the Blackhawks take on a Central Division foe in the Nashville Predators at the United Center. They'll also play them again on November 30th, which will be on a Sunday against Leo Carlson and the Anaheim Ducks. Fans are encouraged to wear all black apparel to these games to create a quote-unquote blackout effect in the arena, which this is great marketing. This is great promotion right here. And I've done a lot of marketing during my time in college. So I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit how to get that set it up and promote and advertise your events and stuff like that. Because even though I'm a journalism sports media major, I have a little marketing experience as well. So I know a little something about that, about these promotions and encouraging fans to set up to get ready for these events and stuff like that. The Blackhawks plan to wear these black alternate jerseys, and I'll probably show you guys a picture of it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll show you guys a quick picture. This is just to all the people that are watching on YouTube. For people that's listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio, you would have to go back to the YouTube channel to look at this. Or I could just put the link in the description for you guys, so I could do one. But take a look at these jerseys. And the Connor Bedard photo in the Blackhawks jersey is absolutely sick. It is unreal. This Connor Bedard photo goes hard. It is a sick photo. But here are the other players wearing these black alternate jerseys. Can't wait to see these beauties debut on the ice for next Friday against the Nashville Predators. So, yeah. In addition to the November games, other black jersey date, other dates that these jerseys will be played will be on January 9th against the Washington Capitals, January 23rd against the Tampa Bay Lightning, January 30th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, March 20th against Colorado, and then March 14th against the VGK, Vegas Golden Knights. The reintroduction of the black jersey is tied into the Blackhawks 100-year celebration. So this is doing this centennial year. And the Blackhawks jersey, the black jersey design originally ran from 1996. For the 1996-97 season to the 2008-2009 season, and we've seen stars like Tony Amon, Chris Chelios, Dennis Safar, Eric Days wear these jerseys. This special edition black jersey is available right now for purchase. Fans could buy it in the Blackhawks team store on Michigan Avenue or at the Madhouse team store at the United Center or online via cbhshop.com. Because of shipping timelines, online orders may not arrive in time for the November 28-30 blackout games. And according to Bleacher Nation, these black alternate jerseys are going to be, at least hopefully, trying to return for 3 more seasons through the 2027-28 NHL season. So we won't just be seeing them this season, we'll be seeing them the next 1-2 seasons as well. Overall thoughts on this, as a Blackhawks fan, I'm so excited to see these jerseys coming back. Like I said, when I first started talking about this, I couldn't stop smiling because I'm so stoked. And excited to see these jerseys come back. This is a long time coming. This is a long time coming for Blackhawks fans. Blackhawks fans have been waiting to see these jerseys come back, and they are finally starting to come back. Let's go. So I'm really happy about the jersey. Let me show you guys the pictures again, because again, these look absolutely sick. These look absolutely sick, guys. So just show you guys. Oh wait, wrong post. But just to show you guys the picture again. I mean, come on. If that doesn't get you pumped up and excited, if these jerseys don't get you pumped up and excited, I don't know what will. I mean, these are just unreal jerseys, and I hope to get one. I hope to get one for myself. But we'll just have to see how everything goes. But I like the jersey. I really do like the jersey. Like I said, it's a long time coming. The details in these jerseys are really sick. I know the other black ones that they wore at the 2019 NHL Winter Classic with the vintage logo, those were also good, but they're not as good as those black jerseys that we saw. So yeah, can't wait to see these come back. And I have a few friends that are Nashville Predators fans, and I'm pretty sure that when they play the Blackhawks, they're going to be excited to see those jerseys as well debut for the Chicago Blackhawks. But still staying with the jersey designs and the NHL jerseys, the NHL and the Fanatics teams released their 2026 NHL Winter Classic jerseys for the Panthers and Rangers. They did this on Wednesday, so after my episode of the Hockey Talk 2G podcast ended on Wednesday, that's when they made the announcement that these jerseys came out, so that's why I was unable to talk about it on Wednesday. But yeah, the NHL and Fanatics released the 2026 NHL Winter Classic jerseys for the Panthers and Rangers. And the Winter Classic will be played on January 2nd of 2026 at Lone Depot Park, which is home to the MLB's Miami Marlins. For the Panthers, this will be their first outdoor game in franchise history. For the Rangers, they played in a couple of outdoor games before, but I don't know what number will this be for the New York Rangers. They played in a couple outdoor games before, but I don't know if this is like their 6-7 outdoor game that they played. I could be wrong on that. But the Rangers jersey, the Winter Classic jersey, is designed as a Centennial-inspired alternate jersey because like the Blackhawks and the Red Wings, two other original 6 NHL teams, they are also in their 100th NHL season. So their jersey design features a vintage white base rather than their typical dark blue, which nods to their traditional light jerseys. It has some bold, oversized stripes, which kind of echo the Centennial's uniform color scheme. The front chest reads New York instead of Rangers. So it is a sick jersey design. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of it just so you can see for yourselves if you have not seen it already. I will be putting some of these in the description below, especially to the people listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But yeah, this is their Winter Classic jersey. I mean, just sick jerseys. Show you guys the design. That is unreal. And you got the Apple logo right there with New York Rangers inside it, because New York is of course the Big Apple, so that's why they added that logo. For the Panthers, they have a Leaping Panther crest on their jerseys, and the design intentionally evokes what the Panther logo might have looked like if the Panthers had their 100-year history. So a 1920s, 1930s themed logo, not just the 1990s retro logo. I will show you guys a picture of that when this uploads. Yeah, here's Florida's jerseys. So this is the Panthers jersey. There you see the little vintage Florida Panthers logo. Kind of reminds me of the 2015-16 logo almost for the Florida Panthers, which they should have kept that logo. I hated that they changed it. But yeah, not a bad design from the Florida Panthers. Overall thoughts, these are sick jersey designs. I kind of like I don't know. It's hard to choose which one I like better. These are both great jerseys, by the way. I really do like both of these jerseys, so it's kind of hard to choose which one is better. I like them both, but let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments. Which one do you like better? Do you like the Panthers one better? Do you like the Rangers one better? Do you like both of them better? Is it hard for you to decide which one you like better? Or do you just hate them? Do you think that they're not that good? Which, she commented that answer, I wouldn't get why would you hate them. Because these are really good jerseys. And this is what Bleacher Report posted. They posted the jersey designs together. So just to show you guys again, side by side of what they look like. These are unreal jerseys. Unreal jerseys. So it's hard to choose which one is better. But moving on from that to the Oilers and Lightning game, as Jake Guentzel scores the overtime game-winning goal in the Lightning's 2-1 win over the Edmonton Oilers. In overtime, scored a minute and 43 seconds into overtime. See the pass from Darren Raddysh on the rush and beat Calvin Pickard far side. This overtime sequence came after Andrei Vasilevskiy made a sprawling toe save on Jack Roslovic to keep the play alive, and the Lightning moved to 11-7-2 of the season. They won 2 in a row. They won 10 in their last 13 games. Nick Paul had the game-tying goal with 2 minutes and 32 seconds left to go in the third period. This was his season debut. For him, he made a strong move in the right circle and flipped a shot over the shoulder of Calvin Pickard to tie the game up at 1 in the third period, and that goal was his 200th career NHL point for Nick Paul. And Andrei Vasilevskiy made 24 saves on 25 shots faced the net in the win. He made several huge key saves late in overtime to set up the game-winning goal. Specifically, he denied Darnell Nurse, then Zach Hyman, and then he made a toe save on the rebound shot off of Jack Roslovic, which was a wild sequence, by the way. So all of that led to the Jake Guentzel overtime game-winning goal. And for the Oilers, Trent Frederick scored the long goal for Edmonton. That goal coming early into the first period, scored a minute and 32 seconds into the first period, and that goal specifically for Trent Frederick, that had broke a 20-game goalless drought, and what a great feed from Leon Draisaitl to set him up for the goal. Calvin Pickard made 33 saves on 35 shots faced in the loss, and for the Oilers, it's not looking so good for Edmonton. They have lost 3 straight games, which included a 7-4 loss to Capitals on Wednesday. So they were playing a back-to-back road set, and they lost both of their back-to-back games. They're 2-3-1 through 6 games of their 7-game road trip, and they dropped to 9-5 of the season. So they're right at 500. And it doesn't get any worse for Edmonton. It doesn't get any worse for them. They wrap up their 7-game road trip in Sunrise, Florida, against the team that beat them in the Stanley Cup Finals the past 2 seasons, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers, this Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on NHL Network. So for the Oilers, best of luck. That's all I can say. Because I know the Panthers have had their number of late, especially in the Stanley Cup Finals, so need to bring their A game tomorrow in Florida against the Florida Panthers. Panthers coming off of a shutout win over the New Jersey Devils yesterday, so they're going to be looking to build on that performance in this game against the Edmonton Oilers. And the Lightning head to Washington, D.C. against the Capitals Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But moving on from Tampa, Florida to the Mile High City as the Colorado Avalanche take down the New York Rangers, and they win 6-3 in Denver on Thursday. They extend their point streak to 11 games, which they are 9-0-2 during the span. They have won 7 straight games, so they are red hot right now, and they improved to 14-1-5 of the season. They showed the grit after falling behind. Of course, the Rangers led at times in this game, where Colorado outperformed them on the score sheet. And head coach Jared Bednar emphasized their balance. They played with the puck. They made skill plays Also shooting, going to the dirty areas. That certainly paid off for the Colorado Avalanche, coming out with the win. And Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar each was the offensive drive force, if you will. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But they each scored 2 goals to add an assist for a 3-point night. And with those 2 goals from Nathan MacKinnon, he passed Peter Stastny for second most points in Avalanche Nordiques franchise history. He now has 1,051 points for the Colorado Avalanche in 890 games. 283 goals, 668 assists for 1,051 points in 890 games. Martin Necas was also pivotal for the Avalanche 6-3 win over the Rangers. He had 3 assists for a 3-point night. Brock Nelson scored a power play goal in the third period for Colorado to give them their first lead of the game. Shot came from the right circle and beat Igor Shesterkin. Scott Wedgwood had an assist on the goal as well. You rarely see goalies get assists or points in general. Of course, some of the goalie goals happen, and you might see them rarely getting assists every blue moon. But Scott Wedgwood, he made 16 saves on 19 shots faced the net. And for the New York Rangers, JT Miller scored 2 goals in the game for the Rangers, both goals coming on the power play. His first goal came by redirecting a pass from Mika Zibanejad on a man advantage early into the first period. And the second goal tied the game up at 3 before the Colorado Avalanche pulled away and won the game. Adam Edstrom scored for the Rangers, first goal of the season for him on a tip-in shot, and Igor Shesterkin made 29 saves on 33 shots faced in net. Despite their power play success, the Rangers fell short in this one, especially in the third period. They lost 2 in a row, dropped to 10-10-2 of the season, right at 500. They wrap up their 3-game road trip in Utah against the Mammoth on Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Avalanche face the Predators on Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and this will be back-to-back road games for the Colorado Avalanche. They'll be in Chicago taking on my Chicago Blackhawks Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on NHL Network. But before that, they'll be in the Music City in Nashville, Tennessee, taking on the Nashville Predators. Other games from the Thursday slate, got the Blue Jackets winning 3-2 in overtime against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Adam Fantilli had a 2-goal game in his hometown. One of those goals being the overtime game-winning goal. The Islanders shut out the Red Wings 5-0. Ilya Sorokin with a 29-save shutout for the Isles, and the Islanders conclude their road trip 6-1-0, with the only loss coming against the Colorado Avalanche. Panthers shut out the Devils 1-0. Sam Reinhart with the lone goal in that one, and Sergei Bobrovsky had a 31-save shutout performance. And fun fact, this is the first time this season that the Devils have been shut out. They haven't been shut out in any other game this season. So this is the first time this season that they have been shut out. Flyers went 3-2 in overtime against the St. Louis Blues. This was a comeback win for the Flyers. Scored 3 unanswered goals to win the game against St. Louis. Travis Sanheim with the overtime game-winning goal. Golden Knights win 4-1 against the Utah Mammoth. Stars win 4-2 against the Vancouver Canucks. James Benning gets a win in his hometown, Vancouver. Senators win 3-2 against the Ducks. First of a 7-game road trip for the Ottawa Senators. And the Sharks win 4-3 in the shootout against their California rivals, the LA Kings. Former Chicago Blackhawk Philip Kershaw with the shootout game-winning goal. Taking a look at the NHL games on the slate. There's only 4 NHL games on the slate, starting with the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Buffalo Sabres at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, followed by the Minnesota Wild taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will air on NHL Network for you guys to watch. And then we got the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Winnipeg Jets at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. This will be Nikolai Ehlers' return to Winnipeg. He played with the Jets for 10 seasons. He signed with the Hurricanes in the offseason last summer. Now he's going to be making his return to Winnipeg in this one. Like I said, he's played with the Jets for 10 seasons. He had 520 points in 674 games with the Jets, 225 goals, 295 assists for 520 points in 674 games with the Jets. These two teams will play again next Friday in Carolina, so it won't be really that long until these two teams see each other again. And then we got a late one in LA. We got the Boston Bruins taking on the LA Kings at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Don't forget that Monday we'll be having the episode of the Hockey Talk TG Podcast. Wednesday, no episode. This is for next week, by the way. So Monday there'll be an episode out. Wednesday there'll be no episode out. And Thursdays usually don't do the Hockey Talk TG Podcast on Thursdays. But just want to say that there'll be no episode out on Thursday. Is Thanksgiving Day, at least American Thanksgiving. Friday, November 28th, there'll be no episode out. And so Monday, December 1st, there'll be an episode out. So I'll be seeing you guys this Monday to do an episode of the Hockey Talk TG Podcast. But don't forget to follow the Hockey Talk TG Podcast on all your podcast streaming platforms. So on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk TG Podcast. I will be post the schedule on my social medias after this episode premieres. So you guys will see it then. Well, if you guys have a great rest of your day, keep God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys on Monday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG Podcast. Take care.